7th week of the off season where our guys have been here together. And really most of the guys have been here, just about all of them. And then we've had guys that have been working here before the off-season program started, like Sewell's one of those guys, which is awesome. One of our captains, our leaders. We've got one more week, so this was our first week of OTAs, and then we've got one more week. So we're only getting two. Normally we'll go 2 weeks of OTAs, then we go to the vet mini camp. We're not allowed to do that since we're only going to go 2 weeks. So they have to be OTAs, which that's all good. So we're just trying to cram in as much of our core that we can schematically, and there again, I wrote this down. I mean, we've got offensively and defensively, staff-wise, either new coaches or in new positions or first time having the room. That's 14 guys. So that's a lot. And so there's a lot of working together, everybody being on the same page, making sure that coordinators want what they want, coordinators know what I want, and so this is the best time to do that. We're all working through the kinks, which is awesome. It's only been 2 days, but it's been really good. So guys are in a good spot and good energy. Turnout's been awesome. We only have 2 guys that aren't here right now. I know who they are. I know where they are at. I've talked to them, and we're all good. And then I know you guys are going to want to know who's practicing today or who's not. So these guys are either out or will be limited. Adams, Martin, McNeil, Onzarike, Pascal, Reeder, Tyleek Williams, Wingo, Barnes, Campbell, Rodriguez, T.A., Branch, Dorsey, Holmes, Chris Spielman, Miles Frazier, Yaboa, St. Brown, Tesla, Demo, Vaki, Barry Sanders, and Calvin. So that's the list. And look, some of them are so minor, like the rookies, man, they've been training for, the combine, all that. We're just trying to get some of these guys right physically. We're working with them. Fish is working with them, Mike Clark and that crew. And let's get their bodies right, everything aligned right, and then they'll be ready for training camp. And a number of guys, we're just trying to be smart. We're just trying to be smart. We got a little dings here and there, and so we're just trying to make sure everybody's good. So this is a time of year to make sure that we're being a little more conservative with those type of things. And they're here, they're in meetings, and so everybody's locked in. And we're excited. The message is the same as it's always been, man. There's no room for complacency. So we're not going to deal with entitlement and complacency. Our team's not. And, I love the schedule we have this year because this is the type of schedule that builds you for the postseason. Like, man, you better be on it. And we're going to get tested early and often and all year long. And it's freaking awesome. It's really how you want it. So we'll be ready to go when the time's right. Questions?
The off-season schedule that you guys are doing right now, because I think we all get it, right? You got the Hall of Fame game and you're coaching and working for a long time, so we all understand it. But what, if any, debate did you have in your head about, cutting off that, mini camp or the extra week OT?
Yeah, there was a fine line, went back and forth, and I just felt like, here's the thing. It was kind of a little unique. It was a double whammy. For whatever reason, the league year started 1 year later than it normally does. And then we have the Hall of Fame games. So but the combination of those, you bleed off season into this, and then you bring them back a week early. It just didn't feel right. And I didn't feel like it was fair to our players. So to me, it's like, look, we're going to cut this 3 days short so that you come in 3 days early. That's how we're handling it. And so, we really didn't lose any time. It just means that we got to be on it in training camp, and we got to get a lot of guys ready to play quickly in a Hall of Fame game, and make sure their bodies are ready to go for an early game, because there's going to be a lot of young guys who are going to play a number of reps in that game, and we'll get them right. We'll get them ready.
Do you have joint practices figured out yet?
We do. The plan is to go with Miami a couple of days, and then we'll go with Houston. that last week for a day.
How has Hutchinson looked? It's early, obviously. And
Yeah.
assuming health with him, how confident are you about your pass rush, even though you didn't add anything significantly on the other side?
Yeah, Hutch OTA looks good. I mean, he's moving well. You don't see him favoring anything. I mean, he's bending, he's grabbing the grass. He's, he looks confident. And there again, that's without pads. So there's nothing to tell me that, man, the guys not recovered are going to be recovered. As far as it deals with the pass rush, like yesterday, I'm glad you brought that up. So offensively, we kind of had this mid-cross. We had these two posts. We're trying to hit this deep shot, man, 34 yards to Laporta. It was awesome. And it took time, right? It takes time offensively to do that. And we did because we had to do walkthrough with the front, all right, the O-line and D-line. So it's hard to tell. We can't go hard enough to decide how good the rush is or how do we really prep it, get it better. We're not allowed to do that. So, but I am confident. Davenport looks good. There again, it's early too for him. And we're not in the physical nature of the game. We don't have pads on, but I like the guys we have in that room, and there again, training camp will make it right.
Dan, what kind of challenges does it present when you've got a
Yes, he did. Toe tapper, 34 yards.
you've got
Great throw.
a condensed schedule and so many new coaches primarily at the coordinator positions?
Just what is it?
What kind of challenges does it present?
Yeah, it's challenging. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. But there again, I think for us, it's, man, let's take what we really know, things that, beauty of what we've done offensively is we're really taking a lot of what we've been. Johnny's done that, things that we've really majored in the last 2 or 3 years. And there's things that I know that he wants to do that he's had a lot of success with that'll fit us perfectly. But, man, and it's just about, hey, we name this a little bit different. We tweak a couple of the formation names. But all in all, it's more about, this is how I want it. This is my style of coaching. This is what I'm looking for. Shep is it's the same thing. We're trying to put a little bit more on these guys and give them more freedom in the defense by look, and that requires guys being on it, man. That requires the players taking ownership in it and the communication to be, on par. So it's challenging, but yet that's what this time of year is. And I can already tell you after 2 days going into day 3, man, it's already tightened up, in a matter of days, which is awesome. I mean, guys getting on the same page and the coaching and that's what you love, man. That's why I hired the coaches that I did, because I knew they would adapt quickly and be able to work together.
Dan, I know you guys don't really care that much about what national perspective is, but you had mentioned coaching changes. Carlos mentioned the pass rush. You mentioned the schedule. Those 3 things are what people say, well, the Lions are going to take a step back. You probably heard that stuff. Do you and your team use that as fuel at all?
I don't think we're not there yet as far as what do we take. I just know this. It's what I said. We're not going to look, give us any nugget you need to. All right, it's all good. We'll take all of that. So give us every excuse, and we will use that, especially when the time is right. But we're not worried about. I'm not worried about that we don't have pass rush. I'm not worried about that we lost 2 coordinators. I'm not worried about the injuries. I'm not worried about the Hall of Fame game. I'm not worried about the schedule. I think it's perfect. I think it lines up perfect. I think it's going to be what's best for us with where we're at going into 2025. My 5th year here, the core of this team's 5th year. And I really think it's exactly what we're going to need. The timing is perfect.
Teams that aren't here that may not be totally happy with their contracts, do you worry that anything will bleed over to the summer? Is there anything you have to do to massage that, or is that just part of winning?
No, I think what's great is that man, any player that I talk to, like I have a relationship with, and there's an open line of communication, and so whatever I say to those players, I'm not going to say to you guys. I never will. But man, there's communication has been great. So I'm not worried about anything. I know this. We're in late May. Is it even June yet? I don't even. All right, we're not even in June, so life's good, man. We're going to be just fine.
It's been a while since John Morton called plays. How do you prepare him for that this time of year? Just kind of get him back in the flow of things.
Well, hard to do this time of year. You know, we don't have enough time to get it done. We don't have enough reps to get it done. We can't really do a true, you know, I mean, we can't even, you know, this isn't football. This is at least you can kind of line up across from each other and whatever. But training camp, it'll be big, you know. That is one of the positives of 4 games. You know, you're going to have 4 games to be able to do that. Just like I've done with AG and with Ben, man, we're going to do a ton of call-it periods, a ton of move the ball, a ton of change the situation to where, man, you got to think on your feet immediately. We will, you know, we'll make sure they get plenty of that to where, you know, you just, as you go, you get better and you're better and better. And he's called plays before. And by the way, wherever he's been, I mean, he called, you know, this is not his first time. The Jets is not his first time. I mean, even when he was here, man, I need it. It's 3rd and 12. I need to play. Bum, bum. He's the one who's yelling at, you know, here you go. And he did that at San Fran. He's done that everywhere he's been. So, you know, this is going to be something where everybody's going to be a little more involved in this in a good way. So the communication has got to be on point. But this is not his first time to do it. So. We'll be good.
The way last season ended with the defense and the injuries and everything else and the loss to Washington, how much of an honest assessment can you make about your defense when you have to factor in the injuries, but you don't want to miss something that needs to be corrected as well?
Man, I love the guys in that room. They play freaking hard. And, you know, look, there's not a damn thing we can do about injuries. Nobody can. I mean, offensively, this could be the year, you know, who knows? And we got to be ready to go offensively if that happens. And so defensively, man, we got plenty in there. I mean, we got cover guys. We got guys that can pressure the quarterback. We got LBs that can cover and rush, attack the run. We got safeties that are ball hawks and can play in the box. We got safeties that can play man-to-man on receivers in the slot or outside. I mean, we got some weapons. So I feel great about it. Now, we got to get through camp. And so I can't tell you anything after the OTAs. I just can't, you know. But I'm not worried, you know. And the things that you would worry about are the things every team's got to worry about, injuries. I mean, if we have another 20 injuries, yeah, I mean, that's an issue. But there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it other than when the time comes, we add depth, which we've tried to do. And we got to get those guys developed and ready to go.
It is just me, but how much of people worrying about the schedule, and you say you're not worried, do you kind of flip it, and will you flip it for your guys and say, these contenders have to come in and play the Lions. They have to face us. Is that part of the messaging and the thought in your head?
Well, I think that, you know, you take each week as it comes, but certainly, yeah, I mean, that's part of it. And, you know, we've gotten to where we've gotten because, you know, because we haven't been complacent, and we have gone and put the work in again and done all the little things that you have to do to win games and win a division again. And so we got to do that all over again. And yeah, they do have to play us, but I just think the challenge of it is what you really love. It's why you love this game, you know, the NFL. That's why it's at its best. I mean, to be able to not only here at home, our own division, go on the road. I mean, some of these teams, it's going to be, I mean, it's awesome, man. I mean, to me, by the end of the year, we ought to be just scarred up, you know. We should be scarred up and ready to go, hardened for battle and ready for the playoffs. And there'll be nothing easy about it. Just to get through our own division is going to be brutal. So, but it's the right kind of brutal.
Jay,
So.
look at the roster. This is the deepest roster you had since you've been here.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of guys that won't make the team that would have made the team in years past. So does that mean in preseason it's going to be like you're going to turn that bottom more for the games and the vets might not play as much?
Yeah, it's still early, but I mean, I think the thought right now is as much as we can and get some of these young guys reps, that's where we'll lean first. I'll never rule out playing the vets in the preseason, but But right now, my thought is kind of that is, hey, man, let's see if we can get a number of some of these other guys reps and find out what we can about them, see if we can get them more plays to get developed, because that's all you're going to get with them. You know, you can't, it's hard, you do your best you can, every team does this time of year to develop. It's hard to develop right now. You know, you can't play football, you can't do it. You got to go half speed. So that's really your best chance, you know.
How did Jared process the disappointment of the playoff loss and, you know, this offseason, the change in coordinator, and how vital is he to that transition with the coordinator, and how much ownership do you feel he has of the offense at this point?
Yeah, Jared's a pro. He doesn't, I mean, it's like anything else. It's like when you lose or you don't play well, man. You assess what happened, what I need to do better. We all do, and then you put in the work. And so, I mean, that's behind him. Like, he's... That's one of those where I wish 2 days after that you could go back to work, right? Because unfortunately you just can't in the playoffs, right? Tournament time, that's what happens. So he's like the rest of us. He's ready to go. He's put that behind him. It's about getting better, taking ownership a little bit more of the offense and of his team. And it's been a good transition. Been no problem. I think he and Johnny are going to work well together. They have worked well together. They've been working, you know, this offseason together, tweaking things, you know, talk to each other, called one another, making sure that both were comfortable for what we were doing. And everything we do is always going to start with the quarterback, especially golf. So he's going to be fine.
Again, for your veterans who have been through this thing a number of times now, missing the playoffs, final game of the season, San Francisco, Washington, what do you want them to take from those experiences that can ultimately help them get to that final prize?
Well, I think, unfortunately, the more you play in big-time games like that, you play in the tournament postseason, and you don't finish where you want to finish, that's when your eyes get really open to, man, every time you get into the postseason, it's precious. Man, it is precious, and you got to make the most of that opportunity, because you're not guaranteed for that to happen. You're just not. And sometimes you got to live that, you know. And look, let's call it what it is. You got to play your best football that you've played all year, and things got to go your way too, you know. Now, you'd like to believe that you can make things go your way most of the time if you play your style of football and your own point. But sometimes you need things to fall in line, you know. So the lesson of that is, man, you make the most of every moment that you got, and make sure that the young guys know. There's going to be some young guys, you know, we get back to where we want to go, that they think this is the way it's always going to be. Like that, this could be your only shot to get in, kids. So what are you going to do to help us win this and get to the next one, get to the next one? So, you know, you learn each time.
What's the next step look like for Jamo?
What's next? Oh, my God. He's got a ton of growth left, you know. And, you know, listen, he's had a good spring. And it's another one, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves in OTAs. But, I mean, there's so much versatility with him. There's so many things that we can do just with his routes on the outside. I mean, we can do things inside, but just with his speed and he's gotten so much stronger, you know, his ability to stop, put his foot in the ground. Man, when you can run like he can run, and now you're beginning to where, man, you can stop on a dime. I mean, you talk about a hard cover. So the sky's the limit for him. He's exactly where we want him to be right now at this point, man. He's been here, he's grinding, he's getting better. Scotty's freaking grinding him. It's awesome. But we expect him to have a huge season. We really do, man. He's going to be one of these guys that we're going to lean on this year, and it is really going to be big for us. And all he's got to do is just keep working like he's working, and we'll be good.
Sorry, three of those guys you mentioned, Spielman, Barry, and Kelvin, is there a timeline? Because you could sell a lot of jerseys.
It's tough to say. I think Spielman's going to be a little bit longer.